So, hello Leslie and Sue, how are you doing?
Hi there, John.
I'm John Russell, and behind the placard, although she again doesn't want to be seen, is Lisa. And we're running the Front Garden Festival, and we wanted to talk to you about how lockdown has affected you both, whether that's a positive or a negative or indifferent way. And I understand that you're involved in some community projects, so maybe you would like to talk about those.
Yes, I run Berko Live, which is a kind of community window on local people who are really talented in the arts, right across all the different arts. And we've had performers who are gardeners and people who are in charity. And we do it upstairs in the King's Arms. Now, I have a little advert here for March the 18th. When, of course, we couldn't run it because we were in lockdown. In fact, the King's Arms has only just recently unlocked itself. And on that occasion, we had Vaughan Rants. And what we did is we did an online one, thanks to Vaughan. And he raised a lot of money because what we do it for, and here's my visual aid, is the Pepper Foundation, which is a charity that supports, local charity, and it supports children who are very seriously ill at home instead of them having to go into a hospital or so on. And it also supports the families as well. And all the money comes from the things they put on, which are largely performance. And we've done this. That was number 21. So we've been doing Berko Live for at least 5 years, but we had to move online. And I have got another one scheduled in October, but whether we'll be able to do it will really depend on whether we get a second wave.
So were there any challenges between people seeing it in person and then seeing it online? Did you notice a difference on who was viewing it or the type of person that was viewing it?
What happened was that Vaughan promoted it tremendously, and lots of his friends watched it, and he was very, very good at asking for donations to the charity. But it was much more the people who are interested in music and other parts of the programme we couldn't really do, because we have artists on who show us their work and talk about it, and so it narrowed it to that kind of audience. But it was really good, and although I'm going to go on to the other charity project that I'm involved in, can I just say that living in this estate, lots of people have become friends and help each other.
Yeah, whereabouts are we? Sorry.
We're at Lincoln Court. And lots of people with children get out now and sit around and talk amongst each other and help each other, and that is a very big change.
Do you find you felt more connected?
Oh, definitely. Everybody knows everybody.
Did you not know each other before much? No. Okay.
Not much.
No, that's nice.
So that's a really good side of it. Obviously, we did have somebody taken into hospital, not with COVID, but obviously hospitals have been under tremendous pressure, and other kinds of things haven't always been looked after. But so, we do have quite a lot of elderly people who are very vulnerable. So that's another side to it.
And what was the other community project that you're involved in?
And the other one is Radio Decorum, and Radio Decorum is fantastic. I started there about 8 months ago. It's actually very difficult to present a radio show, which is what I discovered, because it's really complicated with all the sliders and
Lisa, it wouldn't be.
and you have to be thinking so hard while you're presenting. And my show, called Decorum Live, was based on the kind of show I've just described from the King's Arms. That is, it was 2 big long interviews with local creative or community involved people and their choice of music. And while they're talking, and the object is to get them to talk, you've got to be thinking about what the machine's doing and the next track and everything else. So Radio Decorum has some fantastic people who are so skilled, honestly, from so many years at being radio presenters. So that's my plug. And on and on Wednesday night, my show goes out. That's from 7 till 9. But at the moment, they're recordings.
Okay.
And other people actually are capable of producing a full show at home and sending it in. So new shows are actually going up, but their technical expertise is way beyond mine. Okay. But the station has kept going because Matt Hatton, who's the manager's been alone in the station so that he's not at risk. And he's done a fantastic job at keeping our station going and presenting stuff to raise spirits and so on. So those are my two.
Great. Thank you very much.
Community projects, and I'm going to hand you over to Sue.
Okay. Yeah. So, hello, Sue. How are you? You okay?
I'm fine, thank you.
So, I take it you're also. I know that you're involved in Extinction Rebellion. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, we both are. And for activists, it's been a challenging time. And we've seen how Black Lives Matter activists decided that it was worth taking that risk of getting out onto the streets to get the message across. But with Extinction Rebellion, we haven't been doing that. So there has been there's been a lot of online work going on. And one thing that happened was actually before lockdown, there was a climate vigil. It was an interfaith project, and it began in London outside Westminster. But and I went up to take part for a couple of hours there on one occasion, and it was running for the 40 days of Lent. But of course, when lockdown began, it could no longer happen actually, physically. So it became a question of people signing up to online slots in their own homes to commit an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of silence, whether it was meditation, whether it was prayer, whether they wanted to sing, in their own way, focusing on our earth and the people of the earth, and the need for change, the need for climate justice. And I found that
similar to the question that I asked Leslie. Do you find that there were a different kind of people that were coming to you to do the online stuff, or was it the same kind of people that you know regularly and
well, there were the stalwarts who had signed up to do it physically anyway, but then it brought in new people because you had to be near London to come and do it in person, whereas this now meant that anyone anywhere in the country could take part. So my friend in Wales did an hour, and so did my friend in Folkestone, and I'm sure that happened with other people. So I actually found it really, really inspiring, and it was different from the way it would have been if we'd been sitting in Parliament Square together, but it was still very special. It still felt powerful.
Yeah. And the Build Back Better placard that we've got here, what does that symbolise for you and for others?
Well, what's been happening locally is that Extinction Rebellion Decorum have been out on a Sunday morning, socially distanced, wearing masks, for the last 6 weeks, with placards like that one, calling, well, not really calling on the public, but just reminding people that that the climate crisis has not gone away because of COVID. And just as we recognise the need to follow the science with the virus, we really, really need to follow the science when it comes to climate change. And that means the government needs to take some very swift, radical action. So the government can't see us there on a Sunday morning, but the people of Berkhamsted can, and it's a reminder to them that maybe they might want to email their MP, or they might want to join in with peaceful civil disobedience, which is what we will be doing again when it's safe to do so.
And just a question kind of for both of you, I don't know who wants to go first, but if you could sum up lockdown for you these last 4 months. I mean, that's quite difficult to do probably in a sentence, but if you could try.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I found it very double-edged. So I found it quite moving and inspiring in some ways, and that's to do with community, that's to do with people supporting each other. I've also found it, like everybody else, very frustrating. There was supposed to be a rebellion in May on the streets of London, and of course it didn't happen. And if you believe, like we do, that this is really, really urgent, that we change the way we live and government changes its policies, then it's very frustrating to be stuck in the house thinking, but I need to be out there doing what I can do. So mixed.
Okay.
And I haven't been able to cuddle my grandson, which has been
Yeah, that must be difficult.
very hard.
Yeah. Hello, Leslie. I hear you have a poem for us. If you could maybe just let us know what it's about.
Yes, it's called In Praise of Wind Turbines. And if you think of a wind turbine and just picture it, each sort of little paragraph is a way of looking at that object. Arms out, doing wheelies, they practice at dawn. Long, slow strokes turning over, keep the earth moving. It's a catch, low down, taken cleanly and thrown up to the sun. An animal grown tall, grazing all day on air. Each in position, turning arabesques. Their moves are clean. Upside down cyclists, they hold up the sky. They will go the distance.